to our speakers. We have Yogesh Gupta, who is Director of Client Relations at IDXL, one of Turnkey's key service provider partners, and Brad Calloway, Turnkey's Director of Global Presales. Today, the two will be reviewing some insights on mobile application development, as well as specific challenges and trends that we are seeing in the market. So, without further delay, I'll turn the floor over to Yogesh to get started. Yogesh?
Yeah, thanks, Stacey. Thanks, everyone, for joining in. Before we start the webinar, I'd like to introduce very quickly IDXL and Turnkey Solutions. IDXL is an IT service company providing cutting-edge technology solutions and testing services to Fortune 500 companies since 1998. We are around 700 associates strong and have 10 global locations. We are proud to say that most of our workforce is domain certified, and thus we bring in strong domain knowledge, technical capabilities, and thought leadership to our client engagements. At the same time, we are partnered with industry-leading technologies like Oracle, IBM, Microsoft, and HP. We are also partnered with leading solution providers such as Turnkey Solutions. So I welcome to you all for this webinar. We also have Turnkey with us, and Turnkey Solutions has been founded in 1989, HP Technology Partners since 1995. Turnkey Solutions has developed a BPT, one of our only 3 companies with HP OEM resale. Our automated testing solutions are built exclusively on the industry-leading HP ALM technology stack. A scriptless automated testing designed for business users, not just IT. It completely eliminates VB coding and deep UTP skill set requirements. With that, I welcome Brad to take over and deliver the webinar. Thank you all.
Thank you, Yogesh. So today we're going to talk about developing a mobile app strategy. I think it helps a little bit to kind of understand where we used to be and kind of where things are going. I would say 20 years ago, most people were at a green screen and everything was held on a mainframe, and things were mainframe applications. And over the last 20 years, we've seen applications going from there to more web-based applications, where people are actually accessing these applications on laptops and desktops anywhere. Over the last, I would say, 5 years, we've seen that take a step further, and people are no longer just accessing these web applications through laptops and desktops, but they're also now accessing them on all the different mobile devices that are out there today, whether that be Android, iOS, maybe a Windows phone. And where we see this going is that, anything customer-facing, any customer-facing application going forward, there's definitely going to be a mobile solution for that. I think if we even look at internal solutions or applications, we're going to see quite a few of those have mobile solutions or mobile applications as well, because the more ways people can access an application, the more productive they can be. So we really see, the mobile space growing very, very quickly. And in saying that, you need to have a strategy to go ahead and account for all these different applications that you're going to be accessing in different ways. If we look at the next 2 years, there's some predominant players in this market in the mobile environment, and namely Android and Apple or iOS. But then there's a couple different types of ways that the applications are developed. That can be native iOS or native Android, and we see significant growth that's going to happen there. People are still going to want to access HTML through their mobile applications, so there's going to be growth there. And then there's hybrid applications that are popping up all over the place. So we need a way to address this problem of all these different applications that are running not only on different development platforms but on different devices as well. So you really need to develop a strategy to where your whole team can collaborate and manage these mobile devices. And so, we see the complexity of this environment, is very, very difficult to manage. So you need to come up with a strategy. And so, what we're going to be talking about today is, I don't want to have all my different applications have different development teams that have their own devices, because the cost of that quickly escalates. We need to come up with a strategy that better aligns people, process, and technology. Today we're going to be talking about technology to access those mobile devices across all your different teams. as well as a testing strategy that is not going to require either a lot of manual testing or very, very technical people to go ahead and build automation. We're going to talk about how we access our devices and then how we can quickly build out a test strategy to be able to test those mobile applications. Just talking about mobility pain points, today, all your different teams might have mobile devices, and they might all be testing them individually. That's part of the pain points. But if we look at the overall pain points, the cost to repair poor quality is very expensive. So if I'm not testing these devices accurately, that's going to be very costly. If we look at down at the bottom, the fact that I have a poor quality application is always going to damage the brand. I think there's studies out there that says once an application fails in a customer's hands, they're very unlikely to go back to it because there's many different options out there. If we look at the agile methodology and how people are adopting that methodology across your more legacy applications as well as mobile applications, if you don't have a mobile solution, a way for people to access your mobile devices to be able to do all the different tasks within that agile methodology, you're going to be very, very inefficient. Next, these devices are not cheap, and if we think about large organizations and all the number of different devices that are required to have, not to mention all the different operating systems that are required to have to be able to test, the number of mobile devices that I would need to have in my inventory is a huge expense. So to have a centralized cloud, if you will, of mobile devices where we can share devices across the organization is going to be very, very cost effective. And then lastly, when we look at mobile applications and how dynamic they are, there's a ton of test cases that we need to test. Once again, releasing a poor quality mobile application should not be an option. So you really need also to develop a mobile testing strategy that fits in with that agile methodology to be able to test all the different variations of the functions that those mobile applications deliver. If I don't have access to my devices, that's going to be a big problem. There's many different variations of manufacturer / operating systems, and there's been studies that are saying the quality of an application is directly related to the number of devices tested. So you really need to have that inventory of devices and operating systems to be able to test against. I would say in general, people are generally on Apple or Android at a certain OS level, but that doesn't account for everyone. So the more apps the more devices / operating systems that you test, the better chance you're going to have of really delivering that quality application within the mobile space. So I'm going to present to you the first part of this webinar, which is the first part of the problem, which is, okay, I know I have these mobile applications. I know they run on different types of devices, on different types of operating systems. So how do I manage these as a whole? There is a solution out there by Mobile Labs, and it's called Device Connect. And just in general, Device Connect, just think of it as a huge cabinet that has multiple different types of devices in it that anybody can access across your organization. So that's to be the first thing that we talk about. Then we'll talk about once you have access to all these different mobile devices, how do you develop a sound testing strategy to make sure that you deliver a quality application? We're talking about this device cloud, and let's just talk about the different types of pains that it reduces. Having one centralized location that is secure to host all the different device types is going to lower your capital budget. It's going to allow people to share those devices across your organization, resulting in fewer idle devices, and it's going to let everybody that needs access to those devices have an opportunity to work with them. So your testers, developers, your QA managers, test managers, they're all going to have access to those mobile devices in a secure cloud. There's the ability with Device Connect to request reservations. So really you're going to be able to reduce the amount of time it takes to have access to that device. and it's going to boost collaboration. So when you think about DevOps and how everybody has to work together, having one centralized location to access all your mobile devices is definitely going to boost productivity. So there's a couple different solutions on the market today. There's some mobile solutions that are going to be in a what we're going to call a public cloud. The specific solution that we're going to be talking about today, the Device Connect by Mobile Labs, is actually a private cloud. So this sits within your firewall. And some of the bigger reasons to select a private versus a public cloud is basically security concerns. If you're a financial institution or someone that has very strict regulatory or compliance restrictions, having this cloud inside your firewall eliminates all the security concerns that you might have with a public type of cloud. And still provide you the same type of access, all those different types of devices across the different operating systems. So, I kind of talked about it a little bit, but you're seeing an exact picture, if you will, of Device Connect. It's literally a wheeling cabinet with a number of slots that connect through a USB to the Mobile Labs or Device Connect server. And then there's a portal that I can access each and every one of these devices that exist in this cabinet. This cabinet could exist within your data center. It can exist anywhere inside your firewall. And then anybody who has access to your environment can access a website to attach to any one of these mobile devices. So a very, very easy solution to implement. I think we get it set up within 4 hours of being on site. People will actually have connectivity to these mobile devices. If we take a look at how we access these mobile devices, people that are inside, say your office building through the LAN, they can connect to the Device Connect server. If you have an offshore services team, they I'm sure have a way, maybe through VPN or a point-to-point VPN, of getting inside your firewall, and they can also connect to the this Device Connect server. And of course, all your mobile devices are connected to there as well. So anybody that lives inside your firewall will have access to this mobile device cloud. And really, this could be developers, test engineers, support engineers. People can train off the mobile devices. People can architect new solutions, as well as, for example, if we did our mobile demo for you, you would see myself actually connect to Device Connect and attach to the mobile devices in our Device Connect. Once again, we are a private mobile cloud solution. It's very secure, and each and every one of those mobile devices are connected through a USB port to each one of those specific mobile devices. And now we can share those mobile devices across your organization. So when we think about, why do I want to go with physical mobile devices instead of maybe going with an emulator, some of the emulator solutions that are on the market today. A lot of this has to deal with how people interact with mobile devices. Swiping a screen, scrolling down, getting the response time of the mobile device. All these type of things or these type of actions that we perform on our mobile devices are not accurately simulated in a simulation type of situation. So if these type of things are important to you, going with not a simulator, but going with a physical operating, a physical device that you're working off of should be very, very important to you. Just to talk about a little bit about kind of what Device Connect solves. It allows you to touch the application or the mobile application, which is very important from a collaboration standpoint. Everybody on your team can see exactly how that mobile application works on that device. It also allows for manual testing. Device Connect provides a centralized location to manage your entire device inventory, so you have management of those devices. As we're going to see, and what we're going to focus on next, is you can roll out an automated testing strategy, and you can literally not only test functionality, but you can have the same test case run across multiple different operating systems of the same manufacturer. So there's an automation solution domain here as well. And then not to mention the development side of the house as well. We won't be talking much about that today, but that capability is available for you. Just to talk real quick to recap some of the key capabilities, this private mobile cloud solution allows you to develop and test your applications. It has reporting capabilities. You can manage all the different applications on each of the individual mobile applications through Device Connect. Of course, we can access and manage all the devices. We can access who gets access to those devices. One centralized location to collaborate on your different mobile solutions. It has scheduling capabilities, so one organization can have it for 4 hours, and then it can automatically, that reservation can be made for someone else to take control of that device. We're easily able to share devices across your entire organization. And lastly, Device Connect allows your DevOps methodology or process, be able to succeed in this environment instead of each different application having their own set of mobile devices. So this Device Connect solves the problem of how do I gain access and how do I control my mobile environment. So by solving that problem, really what we do is we just open up another issue, which is, okay, now everybody has access to the applications. But how do I deliver quality apps, mobile applications? And it really comes down to what I like to call the time, cost, quality scenario. I have an application. I have a certain amount of time to deliver that application. I have a budget, so I have to be within that budget. And of course, as we talked about before, it is imperative that I deliver a quality application. If I went with the strategy of manually testing all my mobile applications, I better have a whole boatload of people to be able to test those, which is probably going to throw my budget out of whack because I can't afford all those people. If I go with kind of what traditional automation has been, say for the last 20 years, that also poses a problem because those are usually require very technical resources, and then those test scripts become very, very hard to maintain. So I have two problems there. I have a time problem and I have a cost problem. So all of this means that there's some business risk here. Given my current set of tools and current resources, I can't figure this problem out. I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, and I know I need to deliver a quality application. So it's very important that you look out there for solution or tools to reduce this risk, to be able to build more automation for fewer dollars, if you will, or with fewer resources to reduce that cost. So what Turnkey provides is a scriptless automated testing solution for mobile. And what this is really going to do is it's going to allow you to extend your automation coverage across the different manufacturers, different types of operating systems, as well as the different types of versions there. And because a scriptless framework is so much quicker to build automation, you're going to be able to cover much more of your application from an automated perspective, reducing the manual testing and also increasing the testing that you're getting across the application. This scriptless framework supports continuous development. We have very, very quick release cycles. You need a solution that you can test earlier on in the process, and you need to be able to reuse those test cases from release to release. The other thing we want to do is we want to make sure that I don't need a technical resource to build automation. I want everybody on that DevOps team to be able to not only build automation, but also maintain that automation. So a scriptless solution, that doesn't require a specific discipline in automation, is very, very important to fit that DevOps process. And lastly, I want a solution that fits in with the overall test management solution I have at my organization. I don't want to have a bunch of one-off applications to handle all the different type of applications in within my QA department. These are the type of issues that we saw with our scriptless testing framework that we have here at Turnkey. Just to kind of give you an overview of what our solution provides. We have a product called C-Factory, which I'll talk about on the next screen. And what it's able to do is automatically create automated tests or automated test content. You're going to see I can literally click on a mobile application screen, and it's automatically going to build that application screen's automation for me. you're going to see that our solution is data-driven. That means I can define a test case at the business process level and then choose how I want to execute that business process. And then most importantly, as I go through multiple release cycles of an application, we're going to see that our solution will automatically identify how the application is changing, and it will automatically update my automation. This is hugely important because, you know, one of the things that I said previously is we're going to be able to what we call shift left. If I can automatically identify within my automation how my application is changing, I can more quickly update that automation and use that automation as part of that release cycle. Lastly, we're built directly in the HP ALM testing platform. We allow you to continue to use 100% of that functionality, but we enable a scriptless framework within this environment. So we feel we have the most comprehensive test management solution on the market today. We're going to be talking about mobile today, but this is also for your traditional applications, your back-end applications, maybe such as SAP, you know, maybe some financial ERP application. Our solution works the same across, you know, those what I'm now going to call legacy systems, as well as your mobile applications. And we really attack this from 4 different ways. The first one is I just got done talking about is test management. We're going to manage all of our testing, all of our defects, all of our requirements gathering, all of our traceability, our reporting, everything through HP ALM. So we cover that test management. I talked a little bit about C-Factory, and that's really what I'm talking about in test creation. You know, we literally have the ability to literally click on mobile application screens and automatically build these automation components. So the creation part is very, very simple. That no longer becomes a problem. Then we go down to test execution. We're going to see that we can create what we call a master test case and really drive the test by how we provide data to that test so that I can define a test case at the business process level, and then I can run all the different iterations of that business process through that single test case. Lastly, we all know that mobile applications are changing frequently. So how do I handle these different release cycles? We're going to see the change management capabilities of C-Factory, its ability to maintain the content that it created in the first part, which is very, very important, and one of the areas that our customers see a huge ROI. Just a little bit more about kind of this integrated solution with Turnkey and Mobile Labs. You know, Mobile Labs is what allows us to see the application. It renders the application literally through a browser, and it's actually physically touching that mobile device, as I talked about before. But now I have access to that mobile device through a web browser. Okay. Then you have Turnkey looking at that application, building automation, and then we use HP ALM to store that automation content, to store everything about testing, because that is our centralized test management solution. So next we're going to go into, okay, you told me you have a scriptless framework. You told me I can click on screens. Well, how does that actually work? So over on the left-hand side, I've got some type of Android tablet. We have a product called C-Factory Mobile. And what C-Factory has the ability to do is literally click on my mobile application screens and build these automation components. These automation components are stored directly within ALM, within the business process section of ALM. So they are native to HP. If any of you have heard of the BPT module of HP, that's what we're utilizing. So literally I walk through my mobile application, click on all the different application screens within that mobile app for a specific business process, and I'm going to create these automation objects and store them in ALM. Excuse me. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to drag and drop these automation objects in the order that I want to test them. And this is done directly, once again, through ALM. So this is creating a test case. Once I create that test case, what we'll do, and you'll see that over on the right-hand side, is we will build a data sheet for you. You'll populate the data sheet, and now you can go ahead and execute your test on your mobile application using Device Connect, and that's kind of the middleware of this process. So I don't have to write any code. All I need is access to the mobile application, and I use C-Factory to go ahead and build those automation objects for you. Now, these automation objects are you can actually customize them after C-Factory builds for them. So, for example, if you want to swipe or if you want to power off and then power back on, you can build this type of functionality into the components that C-Factory creates. But absolutely no coding whatsoever to go ahead and build these automation objects, drag and drop to create test cases. We build the data sheets automatically for you, and now I am able to actually execute automation against my mobile applications. So when we think about mobile test application management, for those of you maybe that you're customers of Turnkey already, really it becomes no different than how do you build automation for your traditional type of applications. So we can use cFactory to build automation in the same way against Oracle, Java applications, Silverlight, SAP, mainframe applications, but now we provide the same solution on the mobile application side of the house. And once again, we manage all this through HP ALM. This is where all my automation content, all my execution results, all my requirements, defects, everything resides under HP ALM, which I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with. Next thing, I talked about this data-driven architecture, and I think it helps to visualize this and see what this really means. We're going back to some traditional screenshots, but these could very easily be mobile application screens. But the idea here is I have a business process, and the fact of the matter is there's many different ways to create a requisition that is going to go through some subset of these screens. What our data-driven architecture allows you to do is create what we call a master test case. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to include every component that I created off all the different screens for this business process. So I have an all-encompassing business process that can execute any one of these components. We have an internal technology called Data Driver. And what Data Driver really allows me to do is it controls what I execute. And so this allows me to define different data scenarios that actually have different flows through the application, or in this case, my mobile application. Because in applications, in today's day and age, there's 7 ways to do the same thing in some instances. Or there's just different types of a specific business process that you want to run. Maybe it's an international order compared to a domestic, one that requires approval, one that does not. A dollar threshold that requires a credit hold. I mean, any number of different scenarios that cause the flow through the application to be somewhat different. So we can define these different data scenarios in that Excel workbook and then execute them. And then the data driver technology controls what's executed actually in the test case. So the first test scenario is going to go through one subset, and the second scenario can go through a different subset. This is great because when we think about, one of the problems with traditional automation is when I have these variations of a business process, one of two things happen. One, I create a script for each one of those variations. Okay, now this creates a large library of test scripts that I have to maintain. Not a great solution. Or the second way people handle this is they add specific application logic directly into their automation program, if you will, or script. Not a bad way to go, but in the end, you still have to maintain that automation program. And once again, you need this person with this very technical skill set to be able to go ahead and maintain that program. Not to mention when the developer of that automation script maybe moves on, now you have someone else that has to take over someone else's complex code. And if you've been involved in development at all, there's a big ramp-up process in that, which is very, very time-consuming. So Data Driver alleviates this, allows you to define a test case at the business process level, and allows the business users, manual testers who are filling out the data sheet to control how that test executes. So that covers Data Driver. Last thing we wanted to talk about today is, okay, you showed me how to build automation, how to assemble test cases, but how do I maintain this stuff going forward, and how do I maintain it really, really quickly? So cFactory has the ability to take a component that it created, and this is what we see here over on the left-hand side. And what it can do is at any point in time, I can go and compare that component against the application that it was built for. And what cFactory is going to do is it's going to rebuild that component and provide this side-by-side comparison of, okay, this is what the component looks like, and this is what the component would look like if I built it right now. And it does some color coding, and you can see that. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail, but it identifies all the different types of changes that you might encounter. Deleted fields, new fields, change in order of operations, and then most importantly, if my object types change, it's going to identify those. And we see that down in the orange on the bottom of the screen. So any type of change that I get from a GUI perspective, cFactory is going to automatically identify. And now all you have to do is go in and click on accept or reject. So very easy to go ahead and update these components based on how your application has changed. So instead of weeks to update your automation scripts, we're now talking either minutes or hours. And it's also important for me to explain another benefit of our framework, our ability to quickly maintain our components. Since we use BPT, business process testing, and we are an object-oriented framework, we get the benefits of being an object-oriented framework. And what I mean by that, for example, say this second screen in this business process changed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and find that component in my component library, use cFactory to automatically update it. But the byproduct of this is I might have several test cases built off of this component. I don't have to go to each one of those test cases and update each individual, that component 4 times in this instance. I update that component once in the component library, and now any test case that uses that component is automatically updated, even further reducing the maintenance even further reducing the time spent on maintaining your test scripts, or really, if you think about lowering your cost of ownership of your automation. So very, very important. We automatically update those components, and then any test case that uses that component is automatically updated as well. So if we look at Turnkey with the mobile apps integration or the Device Connect integration, really what we're doing is we're able to build and maintain automation faster. Since we can do it faster, if you keep your current team size, we're going to drastically extend your automation coverage. So you're going to end up with better quality. And I would say we're actually even going to lower costs because we do things so much quicker than the traditional automation approach that you're going to reduce cost of maintenance, you're going to reduce cost of being able to build automation. And the other very important part, you're going to enable more people on your team to be able to participate in automation. I don't need to go and hire a very technical automation engineer anymore. My business process people can actually build and maintain automation. Developers could if they wanted to, very, very easy to learn. But more importantly, those manual testers that maybe you have on your staff today, they can also participate in automation as well. All this is going to drive up your automation coverage, deliver better quality for a cheaper price. So exceptional business value going with the joint turnkey mobile app solution. So that's what I had for you today. I think we're going to open it up for questions right now. I think the questions will be submitted to Stacy, and then she will go ahead and pass those off either to myself or Yogesh.
Excellent. Thanks, Brad. Yes, it looks like we have a few questions that have already come in, but we invite, keep sending them. The first one, actually, that we have is in regards to Device Connect. And it says, just to clarify, Device Connect is the cabinet, interconnect, and power connections that provide slots for mobile devices. Can you verify that?
Yeah. So Device Connect is when you think about Device Connect, it's the cabinet. Of course, you'd have to purchase the actual devices. Those devices are placed in the different slots in that cabinet. There's a USB connection from those devices to the Device Connect server. And then there's software that comes with Device Connect, which basically the way to think about that is a portal where you can access all those different mobile devices that are connected to that Device Connect server. So yes, you are correct. And I think one thing that you forgot was the actual portal that comes with it that allows for reservations and versioning and really access to all the different mobile devices in that cabinet.
Great. Okay. There actually, and as you talked about mobile apps, there's another question about integration, and this one is the integration with HP. It says, what components and versions of HP software are needed to run your solution?
Sure, I'll take that. I guess we'd start off with HP ALM, and that requires, I think we support back to 11. We used to support 10, but that's pretty much gone out of service from both a turnkey and HP perspective. So we support back to version 11 up through 12.02, I guess, or whatever patch level 12 is. So we're on the latest and greatest there. Our engine, what executes the test that we create with cFactory and BPT, is either QTP or UFT. Once again, we support back to 11 and going forward. And then the last piece of the missing puzzle obviously is the turnkey software, and then you require BPT licenses as well.
Okay. Here's another one on cFactory. Does cFactory generate test results?
Well, cFactory generates components. Those components are keyword driven, and those keywords have specific reporting capabilities in them. So yes, cFactory generates reports, but those reports are generated through HPALM. That's how they're rendered. But cFactory does have reporting capabilities.
Okay. All right. And looks like we have one more. It says, can we use any other data source other than Excel?
Now, Turnkey provides a data management system using Excel. You could theoretically use a data source, but we would very much recommend against that based on the capabilities that we've built into Excel and the feature sets that we built in there, but theoretically it is possible.
All right. Well, just any other questions? Looks like that's it. So, yes, looks like that's all we have. Brad, Yogesh, any other final comments?
No, other than, if you guys want to contact Turnkey or IDXL directly, for a follow-up session to maybe get into a demo, please feel free to contact us.
Excellent. Okay. Well, Brad and Yogesh, thank you very much. And everyone on the call, we'd like to thank you for your participation in today's webinar, and we hope that you found this presentation to be valuable. As we bring the webinar to a close, we encourage you to provide us with feedback on how we did, and also we'd like to hear from you on future topics you'd like to see in webinars. So on behalf of Turnkey and IDXL, we'd like to thank you for your time today, and we just hope you have a great day. Thanks again for joining us.